Hey guys, welcome to our new webinar. This is Christian. Sorry for having you waiting. We have a lot of people here. We are so happy to see so many people attending to our webinar today. We can see a lot of them even on our streaming as well. So this is an onboarding webinar series that will help you learn how PageFly works. And so you can build your powerful store and launch responsive websites in a quick and also in a correct way. Our webinars will cover from the most fundamental points to the more advanced rules about PageFly. What functions and elements do we have and how you can utilize them. So once you have understood the app, you can build your store with a high conversion rate so quickly and easily. And this is just because the app make it easy for you. So I want you to know that PageFly is not only an app provider, but also a dedicated companion. We are also a sidekick and an advisor, and we are always happy to help you build your online store step by step. All right, so in my previous webinar, from 0 to 1 full graphs of PageFly's elements, I have provided you detailed instruction of almost everything about PageFly elements and the best practices for using them. So after that, you could utilize them to build very beautiful pages of your own. And in today's webinar, I'm very honored to talk about two main parts. And the first one is about the general understanding of responsiveness. And the second part, I will guide you on how to build a page-like page to be responsive on multiple devices, regardless of the type of device. So, right, I won't let you wait anymore. So, let's just take a look to some things that we want to talk about. So, first, let's just make it easier for you guys to understand in a visual manner. And we have pre-built this landing page so you can understand visually how things can be done. So I'm going to build or actually work on this sample landing page for the US merchants, especially because the Labor Day sales are coming soon, and Americans tend to shop for things just like shoes, furniture, camping, hiking equipment, and many other stuff. So we need to be ready for it. And therefore, today I would like to use a responsive landing page, for example. Um, this can help you also boost conversion rate for your campaign, and I hope that it really helps. And for your information, the webinar is going to be recorded and uploaded later after this event ends, and you can find it on the YouTube channel so you can rewatch it later and at another time. So before going into details, I want to explain a little bit about the definition of responsiveness, because how responsiveness benefits your customers and the customers' data is very important, because most importantly, what PageFly is currently providing to build a responsive page on multiple devices. So to begin with responsiveness, which is just responsive web design, or an approach to create content which is smoothly adjusting to various screen sizes. For example, whether you use a desktop computer, a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, or even a smart TV to visit or to browse a page, the website content, the images, or even the styles will be automatically adapted to the screen. And we need to make sure that the pages that we're building are looking good for all of those devices. So responsiveness is important due to some reasons. And first of all, a good responsive website can increase the user experience. And there is a fact that more than 70% of smartphone users have made a purchase online using their mobile device. So you want people that when they visit your site, you want them to like your site. And you want it to be easy to use to convince them so they want to come back and make another purchase. So imagine if someone visits your site, your website or mobile device, and it is just taking forever and forever to load. So this is not going to be good, and the image is looking blurry or maybe too big or too tall for your web pages. So this is not going to be look, and it can even make your brand to appear unprofessional, and we don't want this to happen. So far we have just disclosed what is responsiveness and what it's about, and how PageFly can help you, and also some facts about this. So if you got some questions so far, please just share it with us on the chat box. We will be collecting your question and we will reply them all. So we just want to get all the doubts that you're getting, and we'll be happy to reply them all. All right, so moving on, we're just getting all the questions that you're sending on the all different platforms that we're streaming. Well, I just want to continue. So secondly, talking about the facts about responsiveness and how important it is cost effective. And this is because when we use a responsive design, you can save money because you're eliminating the cost of paying for a mobile site. And you will only need to invest in a single site design to appeal to all your visitors, all your customers, and all your data. So clearly, it is also time saving. You don't need to worry about making changes on two websites because once you finish building the pages on all devices, other devices will be inherited and you will only need to edit each device at your will. So this means that with PageFly, you have the control to build a page for all devices, and then the other devices like tablet, laptop, mobile will be inheriting all the elements, all the styles, all of that. So you only need to build the page once and you can use it for many devices across all of your users. So next, it also improves the SEO ranking. Responsive design can help with SEO because Google gives preference to websites that are mobile friendly, which gives you a big boost in search engine results. Also very important, potential sales, which is what we are here for, right? So at PageFly, we are giving you tools to improve your SEO on your pages with some elements that are giving you the option that you can set up as well. So there are many, many, many more benefits, such as the faster page speed that you can build with PageFly, a better brand profession. You can make your pages look more professional as well. You can save time using our many features that we got. And also, when you build your pages, you won't be alone because whenever you run an issue, you can contact our customer support, which is 24/7 there for you. And we can also help you to check any issues or doubt that you might get. So to handle responsiveness at PageLab, we are providing you features that can help you to build a responsive page with actually very ease. So let's just jump to the editor right now. So you can see we're currently here on the template that I talked to you about, Labor Day sales landing page. So the first option that I want to talk about is the device sensitivity. So the first thing that I'm going to do is select any of the elements. I will click on this heading, which is saying Labor Day sales. You can see that from the breadcrumb, I am selecting it. Same from the page outline, you can see I am going to select the Labor Day sales, and then I will go to the styling tab. So from here, you will find the device sensitivity option, which is one of the more important features that we have for responsiveness. So the first one you can see here, this is spacing, and we got two options here, which is padding and also margin. So for padding, you can see the device icon is used right here. So this means that this option is going to be responsive. This is responsive because whatever you do here is only going to be applied to this feature or to this style. In this case, you can see that this is padding. And if I click here, you can see that I can set different styles or different values for this option on this view. So I'm currently on all devices. So when I do it on all devices, the other views will be inheriting the styles that I have to set up here on the styling tab. So everything is can be set up here. And now we got the next feature, which is the visibility tab. The visibility tab, we can find it under the general tab right here, the visibility parameter group actually. And we got different options here. And you can hide elements only on certain views and they will be only be visible on those views. So let's just give it a test here really quick. If we select the paragraph from here, you can see that if we hide it on mobile, and we then switch to laptop. This is the device switcher, by the way. We can switch to all the devices from here. We go to laptop. We can see that the paragraph, you can see this is a paragraph. It is still there because it has been hidden on mobile. If we now go to tablet, it is still there. But if we now go to mobile where it has been hidden, you can see that it is no longer there. So I cannot see that unless I unhide it just like this. So PageFly layout structure is very responsive by default. However, the app has the option to style your content on a specific devices, just like we mentioned, on mobile, on tablet, on laptop, or even on desktop. And you will also learn how to do it in this webinar. So we just did a quick sample so you can see how it works right away. So inside the PageFly editing dashboard, you can find the device switcher, just like we mentioned on the top right, here next to the page settings or the editor settings. So you can see here the device switcher, but you can also use from any of these options you can see here to switch to any device to only this feature, and this can also help you to save time. So let's go into details and some specific cases as well. There are some actual cases that users are facing when building their page to be responsive across different kind of devices. And they are divided, or we can divide it in 4 categories. So they could be layout, styling, image, and also visibility. So let's begin with the layout issues first. For example, if we take a look to the product list that we have here in the landing page, we can find that it has 4 products on one row, and down there is another row having 4 more products. So we say, and we know, and we can see that this is actually looking good on desktop right now. But if I go to mobile, you can see that PageFly is making it have less products per row, making it more visible and appealing to the eye. Because, for example, if I select the product list, I will just click anything inside it, and then I will use the breadcrumb. You can also use the page outline. You had options to choose from. I will select the product list from the breadcrumb, and now I can change here. You can see that we got here the device sensitivity options. So this means that any change that I apply here is only going to be applied to this view, which is mobile, as you can see. So if I keep it just like it is on all devices, if we take a look, we have 4 items per row. If I go back to mobile, it is 2. But what about if I just put it like on all devices? As you can see, it looks like a mess. It doesn't look any good in any way. So this means because mobile especially, it is a more vertical looking screen. So we need to have less options horizontally so our content can be displayed correctly. So I am going to change the items per row from 4 to 2 because this is going to look better. You can even change it to 1 because it is also looking good having on 1 like this. I will keep it on 2 just like that so you can see it. So far we have talked about many things and features, especially using our feature for the device sensitivity option. So if you got questions so far or doubts on how to use this, please just share with us the question or doubts that you got, and I can answer them for you. So we got a question here from Ali. He's asking, if I hide multiple sections on other device, how to optimize the page speed? So hiding multiple sections on other device can heavily affect your loading times of your page. And this is because even though you cannot see the sections or the content there on that view, it doesn't mean that it is not there because it is still being loaded in the background or on the backend or on the code side. So what you need to do is only hide those sections only when you really need to do it to avoid making your page heavy with unnecessary stuff. So for example, you should only do that when you're building, let's say, a unique design that you only want your mobile to have, and where you do not, or when you cannot do it by using our device sensitivity option. So that's the only way to do that. I would not recommend to build a page using many sections hidden per different view because this can really affect your loading times. So we got here another question from Chris. Should I check responsiveness of each element with device toggle or build a complete page on all devices, then check on other device? Yes, you are correct on the second guest. So you need to build a page first on the all devices view from here, and then PageFly will be inheriting all your elements and styles to your other views. So what you need to do is just adjust the value. So let's say, for example, um, here, here we got this button, right? So on this button, let's say I wanted to put it red. You can see that it is already red. So I will change it here so you can see how it works. I will change it to green, just like this. You can see how easy it is to change the colors here with PageFly. I will now go to mobile, and you can see that the styles are now there on mobile. And this is because the styles are inherited, so you do not need to do any extra stuff. So what you need to do, let's say on mobile you want different color, you can also do it because with PageFly you can do that. So we got here another question from Laurel. I have found that when I try to disable those little dots on the image in all devices, it doesn't actually disable them. I have to choose each view and disable them individually. Any tips? So I think you mean about these images from the product media, right? There are these little dots on the image in all devices. So yeah, See here, what you need to do is first make sure that you're using the product media element. You can find out that by just clicking on the element to select it, and you can see whether by using the breadcrumb or the page outline. You got the product media, and then you can go to the media list down here. You can see that this is the general tab and the media list. And here you can just set to none, so any dots will be appearing. So you can set these different styles for each one of the views. So let's say on mobile, I don't want to have them, so I will just set to none, and they are not going to be appearing, no longer going to be appearing. So you can see this is a device sensitivity option. So you can set different setups for each one of the devices. So here we got a question from Daniel. Same question with Laurel. Why the dot appear on mobile? So once again, you can just click on the element to select it, go to mobile, and you can set to none. If you are setting it to none and on the live page it is still appearing, please contact our live support so we can further check this issue, because once setting it to none, it should no longer appear. So let's see another question that we got here. We're actually getting a lot of questions. Let's actually keep on moving and we will just get back to the question really soon. So moreover, if you want to set different sizes for the columns, because we just talked about how many products we having per row. So you want to have the columns to be different sizes. So let's move to this section. For example, this is a zigzag section. So let's say I want to have one of the columns, let's say the one containing the image or the one containing the text, to be slightly larger than the other one. So let's go to, let's say, tablet, and I will adjust this value right here. And what we need to do is just put our mouse in the middle of the column, and you can see this green bar appearing, which is the resizer, the column resizer. So what we need to do is just click on it, and then we can just do like this, click on it, and then drag it to the left or drag it to the right, just like this. So this value or this size is only going to be done on this view. So for example, let's just put this one down here to be like this, and this the one on top to be like this, so you can see it. So if we go back to all devices, you can see here that it is still having the same sizes. If we go to laptop, it is going to be the same. If we go to mobile, we got a different layouts, but if we change here the columns per line, you can see that we still have the same. So this is another feature that we got, which is the columns per line, which is very similar to the one found on the product list here, which is items per row. So let's now jump to the next issue. When it comes to the section with text on one side and images on the other side, it will look weird when you switch to mobile view. So if you notice, when I switch views a few moments ago, you will see that this is actually not looking good, because we got an image and then we have text, and then again we are having text, and now we have the image. And this should not be like this, because we should have something similar here where we have image and text, and then text and image, so we can clearly see the differences on the content that we got. So the way to fix this issue is actually very simple, and here we are going to use the page outline, because the page outline is a very useful tool that can help us to find the ways to fix these issues. So the first thing that we need to make sure is that the container, in this case is the row, is right. How can we know that it is right? Because we have two contents here, right? So we got one image and also we got two text, and the both of the text are inside of one column. So the column here is the container of the text, and then we got the image, which is also contained by the column. So in fact, what we have is two containers containing each one of the elements. Because if we add the text, let's say I add this heading and this paragraph below the image inside the same column, this layout is not going to allow us to do this. So we need to have one column with the image and another column with only the text. So once we have the right container, what we need to do is select the main one. So we got column and column, which are being contained by a row. So we are going to select the row, and now we are heading to the styling tab, and we are going to find display, which is right here. And now we need to click on flex, and we will be enabling it. And now what we need to set is wrap and wrap reverse. So in this way, we are affecting only this row, as you can see, And this row is now having the text first and then the image, and then we got below the text and now the image. So this is now looking better, but what about if I want the image first? So I will do the same thing, but to the other row. So I will just first remove the flex by just clicking on it. I will select the row below and I will apply the same thing, wrap reverse. So now you can see we got first the image, then the text, and now the image, and now the text. And now this is looking way better. And if we go back to all devices, you can see that the layout here is remained. So laptop, tablet, and mobile. So as you can see, we can set different styles, layouts, looks for each one of the views. So one more thing is that on mobile devices or on other devices that have smaller screens, you can remove also the column spacing to make the images, videos, and sections to be full width and look nicer. So one example here is by using this exact option. I'm going to do it on all devices so you can see that this option can also help us to achieve certain layout. So if we select the row, we can find here the column spacing, we can reduce it to 0, and we can do the same to the other uh, row that we got below, just like this. And now you can see the images are touching each other. For the text touching the images, we can just add some padding here, which is going to be handling another topic. So you can see really quick, it can be just something like that, and it is no longer touching the images. So this is something that can help you on mobile as well, because for example, you can see here the row is actually not expanding. And since this is a device sensitivity option, you can set it to 0, and you can see that it is no longer touching the border and the content is touching its container, which in this case is the section. So far we have discussed many advanced features that I hope are making sense and easy to follow as well with very detailed instructions. And if you got questions so far on this, please also share it with us. We'll have it a slight break so we can think about this and so I can also reply and check all your questions. So here is a question again from Laurel. Occasionally on mobile, when I scroll down, the page sort of wiggles back and forth and as if it is not fitting properly in the screen. How do I fix this? It doesn't happen on all pages. I'm not sure what's causing it. That's what I'm doing, but do you see it doesn't work if you do it into all devices? If you mean about the dots, you need to disable them. Once again, you click on it, go to mobile from here. You can use this mobile, you set to none. Um, if they are still appearing, something that you can try is adding a new product media element from here, just drag and drop it, and then set it up again. And if the dots are still appearing, please contact our live support because it should not be happening. So I can see the other question is that you ask is about occasional mobile and scroll down the page, sort of wiggle back and forth if it is not properly fitting the screen. So we will be talking about this issue in a little bit because this is also another common issue that it is found when building the pages. And this is happening mostly due to the column spacing on the rows. So we will be handling this very shortly. Uh, a question from Paul, can I use another image on mobile that is different from the one I use on all devices? So actually, yes, PageFly also gives you the option to set different images per view. So let's say here on all devices, we have this big image on the section. So if I go to styling, you can see that this is a very wide picture that we're using on all devices. But mobile is not this wide. It is more vertical looking, it's more stretched. So using this image is not going to be good. So you can also use a different image to be more vertically looking. So you can set a different image here. So we got here another question. Hey Chris, I just add padding to push the content a little bit to the right, but it is not aligning, but not to align to the center. And on mobile, the text seems to be falling off the screen and I cannot see it. So you say you are padding to push the content a little bit to the right, but you are not doing it to align it to the center. So I guess that you're doing something like this. Let's do it here. So on this one, you said that you are padding to push it to the right. So I guess that you do something like this. So the text is not aligned whether to the left, to the right, to the center, but it is a little bit pushed to the right. And on mobile, this is looking like this or off the screen. So what you can do in this case or on these scenarios is just, as you can see here, the value was inherited from all devices. And what you can do is just add a different value. For example, you can give it a 0 and you can see that the text is now there and it is looking better, or you can add like this. But I would recommend to give it a 0 to avoid to align, but since you're not aligning with padding, so you can just give it a different value like this. So let's see if we got more questions. We got one here from Ali. Image fixed width on laptop, but full width on other devices. Full width on laptop, but full width on other. You mean fixed? Okay, fixed width on. Okay, so yes, you can also do this. You can do it on the normal image element like this one. You can see a normal image element, and also to the product media element, any of the two. So what you need to do is you want to do it a fixed value on laptop. So you first need to go to laptop view, go to general tab, find the enable full width. You can set it to no, and here you can give it the value that you want. So for example, you want to set a different value here, you can use or typing in or use the slider to choose the width. So on all devices, it is going to be full width. In this case, we have already set it up to not be full width, but if we check tablet, you can see it is already full width. So this is what you can do because this is a device sensitivity option, which give you the power to do this. So here another question that we got from Ngok Boo. I have one question. I have different designs for my website on all devices and on mobile. Should I just hide the sections on mobile and add new sections? Will that affect my page speed? Uh, Different designs. So yes, they will affect your page speed. What I would recommend is to first try to check if you can make or if you don't feel sure about if you can make it or not only using the device sensitivity option. You can contact our live chat support and we will check and tell you like, yes, you can use the device sensitivity option to achieve this design. If not, you can duplicate and hide. And yes, this is going to be affecting your loading page speed, but this is something that you need to do only when you actually need to do it. And make sure that if you're adding images on your only mobile sections, that those images, those content are optimized so they are loading properly and not affecting too much of the loading times. So here another question from Peter before moving in. I came in late. First, I have the record so I can go through again. And when I design perfect on all devices after clicking to view to see how it looks gives me something different. Hey Peter, don't worry for arriving late. Actually, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. And yes, we are recording this webinar, this video, so you can watch it later on YouTube on our channel. So yes, don't worry about that. And about your questions, you are designing it perfect on all devices, and you say that when you click on view to see it, I'm not sure if you mean to see it on the preview or on the live page, it is giving you something different. So here, sometimes we are having conflict with the theme that you have on your store. So we need to check carefully the preview or the live page that, or where you are seeing that it is actually different to what you have built. For this, you can contact our team on the live chat support, and we will be checking this for you because what you see on PageFly editors is what should be appearing on the preview. So you can contact our team and we can check this on what could be the issues, or you can tell me what could be the differences that you're seeing, and I can have an idea on what could be, and I can tell you what could be the issue as well. So let's just now move on and talk more about the styling tab that we have here on the right side next to the general tab, more in deep, because in the styling tab of the facial editor, we have the sensibility for all parameters to edit the responsiveness for each one of the elements. So most of the elements, or actually all of the elements, have the styling tab where you can set uh, the different values. You can see column, row, product detail, all of them have the styling tab, so you can set their style still. So for example, if I choose mobile from here and I go to mobile, I can set the different styles. This is why it is important to know that first that we can build the page on using the device sensitivity option. So just like we did with the green button, we can do the same with the text. So let's say this hitting here, I will just remove the padding that we added here for Ali, I think. So what we are going to do here is on mobile, give it a different style. So I will go here on mobile, and let's say on mobile, I want to have this text to be different. So I want it to be bold, I want it to be italic, I want to give it a different font family. Let's say this one right here, and then I want to change its color as well. So I will go for something like this. So this is only happening on mobile, because when I go back to all devices, you can see that it is no longer having it because this has been only set on mobile. So this is one of the advanced features that the Styling tab is providing you with the device sensitivity option that we can actually take advantage of. So another issue that Laurel asked us about is that the common issue on the styling responsiveness with the spacing that we have on top. Actually, it's happening more on the sides, on the right and left side of the page. So as we experience, this is actually a large number of users that are facing the overflow issue, and the overflow issue is when your pages have a kind of horizontal bar. Let me just show you. I will preview this page. Let me just put this here really quick. So you can see here at the bottom, there is a scroll bar, which is also happening on mobile. If I check this page on mobile, we will also find this issue. And this issue is caused when the container, let's go back here to the editor, just like we mentioned before, on the row general tab, we're having column spacing of 30 pixels. And this 30 pixel, what we will do is add, as you can see here, a gray out or a placeholder for minus 15 negative margin on the sides, and some things will consider this negative margin that the page is needing to have more space on the sides, so it will cause this issue. But this could be fixed in some way by just reducing the column spacing from the row, or we can also use a code that our team is going to be sharing with you on the chat box, so you can see how it can be fixed by just adding a code, which is a quick way to do it. But I would recommend to try to avoid using the code first and try to fix it with the built-in tools by, for example, reducing the column spacing. So the code is actually very simple to use. So we just need to go here to the add custom code, which is going to be open in the custom code editor. And here we will need to paste the code, which is this one right here. So with this code, we can fix the issue. So let's save changes and visit the page so you can see that it is actually working. So let's just wait until it is saved. And now we go to the preview and refresh the page, and you can see that the bar is going to be away. So let's just do it like this. So let's just check here. Is something here? Let's just remove this. The overflow. Oh, this code is actually only for mobile, so I will just delete it like this. So it is only applied to all devices. So wait for a second. And now if we refresh the page, you can see that the scroll bar is now gone. So this is one way to fix it, but sometimes, or actually most of the time, this issue is only happening on mobile. So instead, we can only use this code right here, and it will fix it for mobile devices that are having the issue. So far we have talked more in deep about the styling tab and this horizontal scroll issue. If you got questions so far on or you have doubts, you can please just let me know, and I will also look back to the other questions so we can keep on moving. So we can see here a question for Kang's sticky section on mobile is being overlapped by a header. How to fix it? So if you mean the sticky section, if we go here and select the section, general tab, we can find here this enable a sticky tab. And what we need to do is first go to the page where we are having the issue, because what is happening is that the section is underneath the header of your thing. We just need to right click on the page and then click on inspect from here. And now we just need to click on this button where it says select an element in the page to inspect it. If you have Google Chrome, you can please just select Mozilla, pretty much the same instructions you need to follow. So we just need to click here and now put the mouse over the header. And now you can see here that there are some values. You can see 1863 by 85. So in this case, 85 is going to be the height that the header is having. So what we need to do is use go to the editor, and here on the top offset, we just need to give it a value of 86. So it is a pixel below the header, and it is not going to be overlapping it anymore. So let's see any more question here. We got one for MK can rule. In PageFly, there is no option to make vertical and horizontal align item. Background overlay color is not working on preview. So for the overlay color, this is actually, we actually had a code here to fix it, which I just removed. And this depends on some things, and the theme that I'm using currently on this store is having a code that will set, we use a div, an empty div to add the overlay colors. You can see this not happening on the preview. Good eye there can rule. We add this code right here, which I think I can also share with you in the chat box. And this code, what we'll have is, let me just add it and save changes, and you will see that the overlay color is going to be working again. So wait a second, and now refresh, and now we have the overlay color working back again. So now about the make vertical and horizontal align item, we actually do have both. So for the first one, the horizontal, let's say I want to align this button, but I don't want to have it full width, so I can see that it is actually I just actually do it with the paragraph here. So we need to click on it to select it, go to styling tab, and now we can set here under the typography a text alignment. So we can just set it like this. And now for the for some elements, like for example the button, we can also find the alignment here, horizontal alignment, and you can set it to any of them. And about the vertical one, we have the feature that we call, it is actually called flex. So let me see which one I can align with this. So actually, let's do it with this one. Let's select the column here. And what I'm going to do is align it in the very middle vertically. You just come to styling tab here, and I will find display, and now I will give it to flex. And now I need to give it here column because I want them to be still like a column. And now I can give it align items to the center, or I can actually here set wrap so our image is not put like that. And now I can justify the content here to the center and also this. And this is going to be aligning everything to the center by using Flex. So this is a very powerful feature. You can learn more about Flex. You can see that it actually gives you a bunch of options in terms of designs and alignment. So this is a very powerful tool to keep in mind as well. So let's see here more questions that we have. We can see here, this is actually a repetitive. Yeah, we actually replied this question, build the page on mobile first, yes. How should I set up background image on mobile? So about this question, we'll be discussing about this, really discussing about this really soon, but very in short, what you need to do is you set the background and the image in the background of the container. In this case, it's going to be the section. You can set to cover, so the image is taking the whole background of the container, which is in this case is going to be the section. You can set the background to not repeat and the position to be center on center like this. This is the more common way to set it up. And now we just need to add padding on top and bottom to add some gaps within the section itself. So let's see if we got more questions right now about this topic before jumping to questions regarding other ones. So how many columns can I use per row or maximum? So about the columns per row, I think you meant when I was just doing the example here, I think it was on yes, on mobile here, that you can see on the row. I can see that you guys actually have a very good eye to the details, and I actually love that. So the columns per line on mobile, we recommend only 4 because as you can see, mobile doesn't have a lot of or enough space horizontally. So you can set up to 4 because the content is not going to be a lot. But on other views, you can set more columns per views. You can see on tab, you can set 6, where on laptop and all devices, you can set 12. So this is going to depend on the many columns that you are using here. You can add a new column from here anytime as well. So now let's move to the next issue, and this is going to be about typography, which is regard the question that we got from I think Mr. Khan Rule. So on all devices, you can create a big heading, or actually let's use the one that we have here, the Labor Day sales, which is a very big heading. But what happens when we go to mobile? And what happens is that the text is so big that you can see the image is not even showing completely, and the text is exaggeratedly so big as well. So what we can do is just go to styling tab, and we can find here under typography the font size option, and you can see this is a device sensitivity option, which means that we can only give some certain values for mobile. So if I give it 38, for example, or 36, you can see that it is now looking better. I can also go to here, more settings, and change the line height, because you can see the letters are actually like split. So if we reduce this value, you can see that they are more next to each other, or more on top, more closer to each other. And this is actually looking better compared to what we had before. So this is an option that is very powerful to keep in mind. And this is part of the adjusting of the from all devices to the inherited values on mobile, and also the other views as well. So there is actually a more common case. For example, you have the hero, or we have the hero banner that we have here in the section. And you can see if we go to all devices that it looks kind of cut off, which is actually not so good. And what we can do is first, we can also use another picture, but if we want to keep using the same picture, we need to change the styling values of the section where the image is applied to. You can see the image is applied here. To add another image, you just need to click here, reselect from image manager. And from spacing, you can have different values of padding here. So for example, if we set it to 0, you can see that the image is more visible. We can also select the content inside the section, in this case, the heading. We can see we got some margin here, which we can set to 0. We got another here we down it. We can add on top a margin of 8. So it is not touching the other heading, and it is still there. And we can do the same here, because 20 and 20 that we are having here is going to have a 40 pixels value from here. So in this section, we can even increase the value of the padding to make it larger, because you could see the content was very much closer. So we don't want that to happen either. So this is one of the ways that you can set up the image in the background. And another way that you can do that is by having the a calculation formula that we have for this, where you have the background. You need to have the width and the height of your image, and then you can down here add some values. So for example, if we go here and add, hey, this is the CSS code box where you can add codes to your elements, and again, they will be applying only to this view. So we can go here for something like this, or we can actually go for something bigger as well. But this will depend on the image calculation that we need to do. Our team can share you on the chat box what is the formula that we use for this, so you can use it. And this is actually a very good one, because it is going to be showing the image in the same way. So let's say here you can see the sofas and all the furniture, and on mobile you will be able to see it as well. But keep in mind that using a very horizontal image on mobile might not look properly good, or will be looking small if you wanted to display like fully. So we're getting a lot of questions here, so please just keep them coming up, and we will be replying them all very shortly. So yeah, actually we're getting a lot of them. So let's take a look here. Yes. Yeah, we can see here another question. This is related to our previous topic. So I think we will be talking about this really fast. He is asking, what if I want the product list to only have navigation? but on all devices, I don't want it to have any dots or navigation on the product list. So I mean that you are referring to the pagination here. So you can see on the pagination, you can, with the product list, navigate to more products, um, only on mobile, you say. As you can see here, there is no device sensitivity option here. So what we need to do in this case, since we cannot achieve it using the device sensitivity option, is to applicate the product list, and one of the product lists, we are going to hide it on desktop, laptop, and tablet, and we are going to enable the pagination on the loading mode. And for the other product list, you can hide it on mobile. So this is not going to be appearing on mobile. I recommend you can also rename the elements so you can have proper order on what you are doing. So since this product list is available on all devices, you can keep it like this. But this other one, if we go to mobile, this is going to be visible. This is the page outline, very powerful feature. Uh, we can even reduce the items per loading, so our pagination is going to be more helpful. And now we can just click here on the three dots and rename it. And we can go for product list for mobile. So when you use your page outline, you can see that this is the product list for mobile, like this, and you can have a proper organization of what you're doing. And this is a very good practice to follow. So in a nutshell, we'll actually like to suggest another tip for you. It is better to avoid using padding, margin, just like we mentioned before, I think to Ali, about avoiding using it. And instead, we can use the horizontal alignment, just like we found here at the bottom before, horizontal alignment, and also to use the typography text alignment. It depends on the case, but it is better to use it like this instead of aligned using padding and margin. Because if you align using padding and margin, let's say you do it here with this heading, you use padding or margin to align it to the center very, very perfectly, but this is only applied to your screen size. And we don't want that to happen, because if I visit your page in my screen, it is not going to be aligned because I have a different screen than you. So you instead, you need to use the text alignment feature from here. So it is going to be aligned to all of the screen regardless of the screen size. So let's just take a look to the questions again and see what we find. So which is the largest image size when uploading? So the image size, if you mean the weight, it should be less than 20 megabytes, because this is a limit that is imposed by Shopify, but I will not recommend to use 20 megabytes because 20 megabytes is a lot for web pages, for web. So I would recommend to have it under 500 kilobytes if possible. I think I can share with you an article from our academy so you can see how you can prepare your images to look good. So they are not as heavy as 20 megabyte, nor even looking blurry or something like that, which is very important on mobile to have a very good, actually on all kind of views and devices. So another question here is that we actually already replied this question. Can I pagination for product list? Yes. Please recommend number of, yeah, this is has been replied as well. Oh, actually, recommend number of items per row mobile view. So here you can test, but something that we will recommend is to not go. Sometimes I have seen customers that want to display like uh, a lot of contents in the page at the same time, and they might get lost when they see a lot of content. So I recommend to go from 1 to 2 in this case, as you can see like this, and this is actually good to follow. So another question here from Paul: please recommend image size banner for mobile view. So for mobile view and banner, the recommended size is 320 by 50, and the banner is actually by far the most widely used ad for mobile. This size that I'm giving to you, these are in the dimensions. So both in browsers and apps, this is what it is actually or commonly used, 320 by 50. Let me just type it in the chat box for you, 320 by 50, like this. This is actually very used. Another question here. that we got from Chris. I always get struggle in customizing the banner on mobile. How can I change the size of the image banner? So if the image is applied to the background, it will depend on the content that the section is having. So if we go here to mobile, you can see that we got one, two, three headings and also a button. So this content is going to apply some height to your banner. If you want to have a vertical image, which is what I would recommend, and it will be better, you can add here some padding so you can increase the container size. So the background image is going to also increase its size. So that's something that you can do. Another question here from NK Camrule. Is there any way to use multiple gradient background colors? Multiple gradient background colors. Do you mean about the opacity? If you go here, you can find the overlay color. You can set here the different colors. You can also adjust the transparency, as you can see here, or the alpha color as well. So for multiple grading colors, you mean to on the sections to have different sections with different background colors. So yes, you can do that. For example, you can see here we got this color here, kind of cream, and this one underneath. You can also set a different color. You can go like this, adjust the alpha. Actually, like this, like gave it 0. Actually, yeah, just like that. You can see they are actually different. You can play around with these values. So we got more question here. Please explain me again about the zigzag section. Oh, so you mean about making this section to be correctly on mobile. So let me just explain again. Let me go to mobile. And what will we find? Let me just set the row again to 1 per line, columns per line, 1. Okay. So what we need to work with is the page outline. And this is because the page outline will give us a correct and a clear view of what's going on this section. So on this one, we can see that we have a row, and each one of the row or this row is having 2 columns. And we need to have the proper layout for this. So we have inside one column the image, which is one of the contents, and on the other column we are going to have the text. So the text needs to be contained in its own column, just like the image. And now what we need to work with is the container of both columns, which in this case is going to be the row. And now we just need to go to styling tab, scroll down, and we need to apply flex here. So I actually applied to this one, and you can see how it is flex. You can apply wrap and wrap reverse. So this way you can make it go like this. So let's see here if we have more questions. Okay, so I think we should keep moving, and now let's continue with the next common issue which come from the images, just like Paul, I think was Paul was asking about. So for this issue is about when you switch the devices, let's say switch from old devices to mobile, and the images are looking cut off. So let's go here again. Let me just remove this overlay. This is actually too red. I will give it black like this and change the alpha colors just like that and go to mobile. Okay, so we can see that the image is cut up. It's not completely, as you can see here. It is not looking good. It actually looks kind of bad because I cannot see it completely. And in this case, there are a few solutions that we can follow. So one of them is just like we mentioned before, is decrease the padding, which we have under the styling tab, like this padding. We can decrease these values. It will depend on the content that we have inside of the section itself by just hitting to the styling tab from here, or we can use the formula which I will use give to you. So the formula is going to be just the height of the image. You can write it down. The height of the image divided by the width and then multiply it with 100%. And then you can apply the result down here like this height, and then you can add the value that you obtained and BW and a semicolon at the end. And now your image should be showing completely on the screen, regardless of the screen size. But once again, if you use a very horizontal looking image, it is not going to be fitting there at all. So this is something that you can use by using this actually trip. It's a secret, can we say, because it is actually very helpful to do it. Let me just also remove the sticky tab from here. Let's now talk more in depth about the visibility feature that we find. The visibility is used to create more unique designs that we cannot achieve by using the device sensibility option. Here we have four options, which you have already seen, but they are the hide on desktop, hide on laptop, hide on tablet, and also hide on mobile. So now I would like to build a unique and independent design on mobile. So first of all, devices, I'm going to add a heading. You can see I'm on all devices. I'm going to add an element, then a heading, and I will just drag and drop it like this, just like that. And now I will again hide it from, yes, actually desktop, laptop, and mobile, and tablet, and only keep it available on mobile. And I will go now to mobile devices, and you can see that our text is there, and now we can style it, and we can do whatever we want with this heading. And this is only going to be visible on the mobile view. And we can do the same with the section, just like we did with the product list. For the heading, we can also do it. A heading is not a heavy element because it is only plain text, but it is still applying weight to your web page. So make sure to do it only when you really need to do that. So we have talked about the visibility tab, device sensitivity, some options that can help us a lot, like the flex one to align elements or use horizontal alignment from here, like we find on the button, or on text element that we find the typography and the text alignment like this. So all of these options can help you to achieve the layouts correctly and responsiveness on your page by pages. So I hope all this information that I have shared with you is clear and can be of help. Once again, this webinar is going to be recorded, or actually it's being recorded and will be uploaded later. So when the event ends, you can rewatch it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again, and for the Labor Day landing page sample that I am currently using, you can find the link on the YouTube channel as well, and you can download it and you can export it and import it to your own store, and you can practice the responsiveness there as well, because this landing page is having the common issues, so you can see how they can be fixed. The other issue that we discussed about is about opacity not showing, and also the horizontal bar appearing at the bottom of the page on mobile and also on all devices. So if you got questions so far, please just share with us and we will be replying you. This is very much our end of our webinar. We're just now going to do some questions and answers. So looking forward to seeing more questions and replying them before we finish. So we can see here from Daniel a lot of knowledge. So I'm trying to digest it all. So yes, we understand this, and that's why we did some breaks to take some briefs, so we can start taking all the information slowly. So we take a look again to the questions. Here again, I can simply explain more about the issue. The image is being cut off. So again, this is depending on the image that you're using. On mobile, you can use 320 by 50 to use a more proper looking images on mobile, just like most of the people do on mobile devices. You can also change some things here as well. For example, let's say I want to show this part of the image. You can see that changing the background position can also help you, or like this, because you have all the options here, all the tools to play around with this. If you set this to contain, I have seen that some people is just going to set the background size to contain to have the image showing properly, I mean completely, but it is not looking so good, as you can see, because it is not covering the whole background. So I would recommend to set to cover and to have a proper resolution or proper dimension of the image to use a mobile for this. So let's take a look here again. We have one from Monica. I add padding to push the content a little to the right, but not to line it to the center. We actually replied this question already. I'm not sure if you were around here, but I will just show you really quick how you can do it. So people is adding padding to push the content a little bit to the right, just like we did here, like this. But on mobile, the content is going to look so pushed, or it can even look off screen if we add here more values. I'm not sure what values are you using, but if we go like this, and you see the content like this, you just need to change the values of the padding on the left side. From 300, you can go back to 0 like this, so it looks better on mobile. So it's not affected. And you can check the other views like tablet, for example, which is also going to be pushed. You can reduce the values if you want it. You want it to still be pushed to the right side. We got a question here from Han. Can I use animation for desktop but not enable it on mobile? So whenever you have a question about if I can enable something or not on one view or another, you can just select an element and find the attribute or the feature that you want to use, and you can look for the device sensitivity option. As you can see here, there is not device sensitivity option, so whatever you set here is going to be applied to all the views. So what you can do here is just duplicate, and hide the elements on the certain views, and you can set the animation only on the view that you want it to have. So we got another question here from Tennyson Garrett. Can I have the formula for the image size? So the formula, let me just read it once again. Give me 1 second. The formula is going to be the height divided by the width, then multiply with 100%. Our team can share it with you. There it is, actually. I'll share it with you on the chat box. You can find it there. So here we got another question, Luis Felipe. Is there any way to use multiple gradient background colors? So if you mean to make different gradient colors, we don't have the built-in option to use gradients at all. So what you can do is you just go and find a gradient generator, a CSS gradient generator on the internet, and they will pretty much automatically generate for you the CSS code, which you can just copy and paste here in this box. You can just add a new line and paste it. In this way, you can use the background, the grading colors for your content. You're welcome, Han. Let's see here more questions. We're actually getting more of them. Let's see which one can be what will be the proper resolution for mobile. We already share the information is on the chat box, but the proper resolution that we recommend for mobile is going to be 320 or 320 by 50. This is what it is commonly used for mobile view or for mobile devices, ads, images, and so on. So here we got another question from Tennyson. I don't know why, but sometimes I make changes on mobile, but it is not reflected on the live view. So if you're making changes here from the device switcher, you are on mobile and you make any change. Let's say you change this button from red, or let's say the hover styles, which you can change from here, mouse over, and you change the white color, this white color to be green, and on the live page you still do not see it green but white. This could be a cache issue, so you can check on incognito mode or in private mode of your mobile device or on another device to make sure that it's not a cache, because most of the PageFly changes, when you publish or save the page, the changes are applied immediately on the page. So this normally could be a cache issue, and cache issue happens mostly when you visit the page a lot of times. So this is what could be happening. But if you still find the issue happening on your side, you can contact our live chat support, so we can check further into what could be happening in this case. So here, let's take a look to one last question. Let's see if we missed one of them or not. Morning. So I think this is going to be all for today. We actually have a lot of questions. Some of them might not be replied, as there are a lot of them. So if you got more questions, you can anytime. You are 24/7 available. You can reach out to our live chat support, and we can reply them there. So this is pretty much everything. Thank you so much for joining us today, all of you. We're very happy with sharing all of this information for you. We hope that you can make now very beautiful pages using PageFly's, and you can take a very advantage of this. And well, be well and stay safe. Thank you for all your messages and your kindness as well.